Hi guys, Jonah here, back with a cider review. We're well into spring, it's March after all, and yeah, I thought I'd do a drink that should only be had in autumn and winter. No, only joking. You can have cider all year round. And this one was cheap. That's the other reason why I saw it in the B&M. Is it B&M or was it Home Bargains? It was one of those two, which is like a cheap yeah, cheap shop we call them, but a kind of cheap supermarket type thing. If you're not from around these here parts, but yeah, this is the one I found. Kingstone Press. That's the name of the actual cidery. And it's wild berry flavoured cider. So yeah, it's a flavoured cider. Doesn't sound like natural ingredients, but never mind. This was £1 for a bottle, so 500 as well. So almost, very almost £1 a pint. Not quite. Got a neck sheath on, which I like. Doesn't have a branded cap, unfortunately. And there is some blurb on the back. This fine cider comes out at 4% on the ABV. And as we all know, I used to make cider, and cider never comes out at 4, so you have to water it down to get to 4%. And this is from Stourport-on-Severn, Worcestershire. Cool. And it says it contains sulfides to prefer. Yeah, so it's not getting much better. Contains sulfides. Totally not bottle conditioned. And if you read the blurb, it's just ridiculous. It's talking about cider, authentic cider blends, apple cider with carefully selected cocktail of wine berry flavors. So it doesn't even say that it's natural flavorings. So yeah, take it as it is, and that's what I'm going to do. But I just like it, and I like a bargain too. So let's get this bad boy into a glass, shall we? There we go. Nice hiss. A little bit of carbonation, a little bit of smoke. Ooh. I have some ice. Sorry, to thine own self be true. I like having ice in my cider. And this hasn't been in the fridge. I only got this yesterday. So yeah, very interesting. In fact, is it a 500 with a bit of ice? Is that going to bring it right up to the top? Oh, look at that. Almost as though I had planned it that way. I kind of had. Right, let's get this into the picture. Look at that colour, it's amazing. And that'll be the front page. Oh, lovely. It smells the part. Maybe a tiny bit kind of artificial, but definitely getting a berry kind of flavour. On the nose, I should say, flavour aroma. A little bit of kind of cream as well, like a kind of yeah, rhubarb and custard kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Those kind of, remember those sweets, rhubarb and custard, those chewy sweets we used to get. Can't have those anymore, unfortunately, but it was very berry, but it had a little bit of kind of creaminess to it too. Look at that, absolutely crystal damn clear. I know some of you care about such things. Very bright. Cider tends to be clear. You can get cloudy cider. Cheers and beers. Oh, by the way, if you're new to this channel, why not look at some of my other videos? And the best way to do that is subscribe. Obviously, like this video because I'm only drinking this kind of stuff for your entertainment. Must be worth the thumbs up, eh? Cheers and cider. Interesting. So, for a cider that's only 4%, And weirdly, a lot of the mass-produced ciders in the UK, don't know what it's like abroad, um, they're tending to dumb down the cider. Cider used to be one of those drinks that you could get regularly in the pub at stronger strengths, but now you can't. Um, Unless you go into certain pubs. I'm in Kent, you can get Babindom cider, and it's 8%. You can get that bad boy on draft. So that's cool. But yeah, I was speaking to someone in the know, and especially with fruit ciders. They've changed the custom bracket, so the revenue and customs people, um, because it's a fruity beverage, they're putting it in the same category as fruit wines and stuff. Whereas obviously apples are fruits, but if you have a pure apple cider, it's still called a cider. But fruit ciders, yeah, they're no longer in the same class. So especially with fruity drinks, you're going to see the ABV drop down, so the producers are making a bit more money off them. Bit weird. Don't know why they did that. Obviously, these greedy politicians are trying to get more money, but when it comes to drinks, people are just going to change the drinks, aren't they? It's so obvious. It makes no sense. And don't get me started on minimum pricing of drinks per alcohol unit. That's just nuts. I've thought about this. It's absolutely nuts. Anyway, let's dive in again. I'll tell you what, and I think I started to say this before I got distracted by things, which is one of those things, dear viewer, that happens on this channel. The actual fruit flavour is quite fruity. And for such a light cider, I'm surprised that it comes through as so fruity. Um, I have made cider before in the past, homebrewed cider. It was a turbo cider, but I made it from shop bought juice, and I mixed what do they call it? Squash. Diluted kind of fruity stuff. I think I used Ribena strawberry. So very similar to this actually. But I found if you put too much of that in, it kind of overpowered the appley taste of the cider. Um, I think I don't think they've used Ribena, but I think they put too much of the flavouring in here. Um, yeah, for a 4% cider, it's got a real like fruity body to it. I'm impressed by 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 my turbo cider standards. Um, I actually produced something very similar to this. I don't think it was a pound. I think it was more like, yeah, I think my one came out at like 10p. I don't know, maybe less. No, maybe more than that. Maybe 50p a pint. Absolute maximum. And this is £1 a pint, so not far off. Everyone's got to make their cut. There is nothing wrong with this at all. This is really good. I'm enjoying this. It is what it is. Uh, it is a bit cheap and cheerful, shall we say. However, those higher end um, Scandinavian ciders that were popular a few years ago, I guess they're still popular. They're so much more expensive than these things. And basically, they're tasting the same, and it's the same ABV too. Don't forget that. Um, don't be fooled by the marketing, which doubles or triples or quadruples perhaps the price of things. Um, but a lot of people are doing berry cider. Strongbow, one of the more traditional ones in the UK, even though that's been bought out by conglomerates and it's not really what it used to be. However, yeah, cider is a drink that I can definitely enjoy, and I am enjoying this one. Oh, yeah, it does have a little bit of that kind of, I don't know what that is. It's kind of like a vanilla-y, tiny vanilla thing in the background. So you know when I say custard before, it's a touch, a hint of vanilla. So I was actually thinking of doing a strawberry or perhaps raspberry, but I think I was going to do strawberry and vanilla cider. But this has a bit too strong of a taste, so back off on the taste of the strawberry and the vanilla, but just have it hinting in the background, and um, put it at least sort of 5.5, 6% ABV, because that way you know it's a proper cider, and you haven't had to backwater it, which is what I kind of had to do because my yeah, my turbo cider, I put too much of the concentrate on. It raised the sugar level and it came out at like 8.5%, I think. And I don't have a problem with that, but you could only really have one, pardon me, one or two glasses before you get absolutely hammered. Quite carbonated, as you could tell from my obscene belching. I apologise for that, dear viewer, but that's what happens when you drink cider reasonably quickly. I'm going to polish this off, and you guys can get in your way. And in the meantime, I'm going to hold out Kingstone, yeah, or King's Tone. Don't know which way you do it. Where do you put the S? I was born in Kingston, believe it or not. Not Jamaica either, and not Yorkshire, believe it or not. Oh, that is actually pretty damn good. I'm going to say Kingston Press. Why not give them a go? Because that is cheap as chips, but tastes really, really nice. This has been Uncle Jonah drinking cider and waxing lyrical purely for your entertainment. Please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Remember to come back and say hello to Uncle Jonah's channel, where I'll be doing another beer review, maybe another cider review. And that's coming up real soon.